Is this thing on? Okay. And, ladies and gentlemen, and faithful Roar listeners, it's Christmas time in the Republic of Avalon. We've put together a very special show for you. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Sono lieto di poter rievocare in poche parole le esperienze delle prime trasmissioni radiotelegrafiche a grandi distanze da me felicemente eseguite attraverso l'Oceano Atlantico il 12 dicembre 1901.
Holy snapping bra straps.
It's a podcast. Republic of Avalon Radio. It's 0 hours, Avalon Standard Time.
Hello, this is Robert Peace from the Orkney Islands, and I'm listening to the Republic of Avalon Radio.
Hi, my name's Brian Rutherford. I'm from Newcastle-upon-Tyne, England, and you're listening to Republic of Avalon Radio.
Hi, I'm Liz Hanrahan. I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland, and I'm listening to the Republic of Avalon Radio.
Hello, I'm Clyde Rose from 100 Water Street, St. John's, Newfoundland, and I'm happy to say that I'm a great supporter, a tremendous supporter of Republic of Avalon Radio. Bless your hearts for listening in.
Republic of Avalon Radio.
You're with the roar.
Republic of Avalon Radio. You're with the Roar. I'm Jim Fidler. And it is Christmas. Woohoo. It's actually Christmas Day. We're just here now having some Christmas time together. And we're just getting ready to have some brunch. We are having. What are we? Oh, let me come over here by the stove. Things are cooking. Listen to this, folks.
Over here would be better.
Okay. And what are we listening to here? What's that cooking?
That is homemade hash browns.
Homemade hash browns. Okay. And for our listeners who might not know what that is not some sort of illegal substance that we are going to engage in and end up having a very irie Christmas. That is, or those are, potatoes. And we fry them up in an iron frying pan, and we have onion with them. And when they're all fried up nice and kind of all brown and little crispy singed bits around the edges and all that stuff, we serve them up. And today we're going to serve them up with bologna, bacon, eggs, wonderful whipped scrambled type eggs that we add a little bit of tinned milk, or canned milk as many people would call it, a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, a pinch of sugar, and some butter. And then you whip that stuff all together and flick it into your iron frying pan where you have a bit of oil. And we have yummy scrambled eggs. And what else are we serving with that? The eggs, the hash browns, the bologna, the bacon, and my ham. Every Christmas Eve I make a ham. It's kind of a... I cook it on the stovetop. I used to cook it in the oven, but there was no real advantage to that, so I sort of discontinued that. And now I just do it on the stovetop in a roaster with 2 liters, the large 2-liter bottle of ginger ale, preferably Schweppes. And we also chop up and add a considerable amount of fresh ginger, a whole bunch of 1 full bulb of chopped garlic, fresh garlic, a cup of ketchup, half a cup of honey, some Thai, if you can get some sort of like a Thai sauce, like a Thai sweet sauce, you can throw some of that in there, some soy sauce. What else do we put in that?
Garlic, ginger.
Got all that? Mm-hmm.
Honey?
Honey, got that?
Honey, pineapple.
Oh, yes, and let's not forget a whole fresh pineapple, diced. And I layer it. Once I get you heat up the ginger ale and all the stuff, the honey, and you need to warm that stuff all up together. And once that's all warmed up together and it's become its own thing, the ham. And now, what kind of ham do we usually use? What, like, to tell people what sort of a ham to get? What kind of a ham is it?
Well, this was, I guess it's an already cooked smoked ham.
Okay, so the best one you could get. This one happens to be Larson's, which we would give a big thumbs up to, but that might not be available everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just your standard sort of ham, and then kind of has a kind of a thing on the outside of it that
rind.
You want to slice the ham up and into pieces, and cut away all the rind from the edge. Correct?
Correct.
Then we start adding. What I usually do is I take diced, bits of the pineapple, and I put so many in, and then I put so many pieces of the ham in, and then I add some more pineapple, and then I add some more ham, and I add some more pineapple, and I add some more ham, and I keep doing that until finally it's all done. And this is a large roaster as well, so once that's all done, we just put the lid on it and actually bring it to a good boil and let it boil for a couple of minutes, and then turn it down on about half and let that go for, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then turn it down on about, low medium, and just let that go for a couple of hours. And when that's done, folks, talk about tender, fall apart in your mouth, delicious, yummy ham. It's incredible. And of course, it's very, very good after, Christmas Eve. I make the ham, but then for, say, today, for example, and tomorrow, for a couple of days, you've got great ham and pineapple for snacking. So you want to make some potato salad maybe, and have some whatever kind of pickles you like, or beets, or we like homemade raisin bread and butter. So you have some potato salad, some pickles, some ham, and of course after Christmas Day you've got your turkey and all that stuff, with a little sprinkle of salt and a bit of pepper maybe. And I'm not a big fan of cold plates. When you go somewhere to some event and they have cold plates, it's like, oh no, not cold plates. But this is just Lux Deluxe kind of stuff. And that ham also fries really nicely. You just gently fry it, just gently warm it up in a pan and have it with eggs or, fried potatoes, hash browns, pan-fried potatoes, some people call them, or you could slice them instead of cutting them into chunks and make what some people call fritters. Oh, here we go. Update on the cooking. Listen, folks. Pardon me, please?
Bologna and ham in the frying pan.
Bologna and ham in the frying pan. Doesn't that sound delicious, folks? Doesn't that just have your arteries dancing?
Yep.
It's beautiful.
It's going to be delicious.
It's going to be delicious. I fully agree with that. So we hope everybody's having a good Christmas. As I said, this actually is Christmas Day, so when you hear this, some of you might be hearing this tomorrow or the next day. Some of you might be hearing this in the year of our Lord 6547. Really hard to say. If you are listening at some point in the way, way distant future, this was before the collapse of this wave of humanity in the year 2006, near the end of 2006. On December 25th, which is a kind of a funny date. A lot of people in the world celebrate the birth of somebody called Christ, who, from all investigation, was not even born on December 25th. It was actually a whole bunch of sort of old kind of Babylonian, and the pagans get a hard rap too. They didn't really have a lot to do with any of that stuff. It's mostly like the Babylonians and all those kind of spooky religions that had to do with the whole thing. Yes, ho ho ho. So people celebrate the birth of Christ. Hey, who cares if it's off by a few months or whatever? And that's okay. That's fine. And some people celebrate Hanukkah. Of course, Hanukkah's over now. And we're kind of funny because we don't really fully celebrate any of it, actually. And we don't sort of not celebrate any of it either. I think it's more like the spirit of this time of year. People tend to, for some reason, thankfully, I don't know, I think they just get a little kinder for about a week. So we'll take it, won't we?
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Well, now Lillian's not saying much. She's kind of bustling about here. What is it you're doing here now exactly? Describe to the folks in gory detail what you're doing there now.
Listen to this. Listen.
Okay.
Down here.
Oh, she's cracking eggs, folks. She's the egg cracker, as opposed to the nutcracker. That could be painful. Anyway, yes, so what was I saying? The whole business. What was I talking about?
You were talking about kindness.
Kindness. Oh, yeah. For about a week, people get kind. So that's okay. And, of course, we have Quanza as well coming up soon. That's a wonderful celebration of African-American culture. Now, myself, I actually... it's one of these things. There's a lot of people in North America who have some native North American blood, but it's been, kind of put down and hush-hushed and lied about in their families. So they think they're just pure whiteys, pure European people, but they actually might be 1/8 or 1/16, and sometimes it's actually ridiculous because some people who are going around masquerading as whitey are actually very visibly Native North American. And if they have any luck, they may find out at some point in their lifetime. Somebody might break the radio silence and tell them about their heritage. They might say, when this person is in their teens or 20s or 30s or God knows what, by the way, your grandmother or your grandfather, and then the person goes, really? Wow, well, that makes a few things seem more explicable than they were before. And then, of course, there are some people going around like that with some African descent that they unfortunately don't embrace and don't acknowledge. And so they, again, just sort of have this false sense of 100% Europeanism or whatever. But anyway, my point is I'm very, very glad and very, very happy to be kind of all mixed up. Fidler or Fidler is pretty much a Jewish name, German. And that is something that, interestingly enough, I didn't grow up as a family, with a family eating all this lovely German or German Jewish food, and there's no actual practicing Judaism in the family. I think this is a lot based on gut feeling, sort of, it in your bones type stuff. And I don't think that stuff can be discounted, because I've had time and time again in my lifetime that these gut feelings and these I know it in my bones things have all bore out and become true. For example, as an only child till 10 and musical right from the day of my birth, well, it turns out I have music on my mother's side of the family. My grandfather was quite the multi-instrumentalist, played accordion and I think guitar and mandolin and fiddle and things like that. I went around, and that's a old Newfoundland tradition. You have, in fact, the funny part about that is they used to call that person the fiddler, whether they played the fiddle or not. So it's interesting that on my mother's side of the family, my grandfather was somebody who certainly was referred to as the fiddler, as if they were having a Saturday night kind of hoo-ha, somebody might, inquiring as to the whereabouts of my grandfather on my mother's side, say, "Is the fiddler here yet?" And that's on my mom's side of the family. But on my father's side of the family, as in my dad, James Marley Fidler, the Fidler is actually the family name. So it's all kind of interesting, the way these things stack up and come together. And so my gut feelings, right from the get-go, being a musician, music, and I didn't have any older brothers and sisters influencing me, you know what I mean? I didn't have my older brother's guitar, my older sister wasn't out playing the piano in the living room. I had none of that stuff. It just came to me right from birth, and having it both on both sides of my family. And then, of course, later on, finding out when I'm in my 20s, I meet my two brothers, Steve and Jeff, in Pennsylvania, who I grew up not knowing I had. So I thought I was an only child when I was 10, but I actually wasn't. So that's just goes to show you what I knew at the time. And then, of course, our cousin Christina and her sister Rachel sings and paints, and their mom, my Aunt Shelley, plays piano and guitar, and I think violin, and so it's all there. And as an extension beyond the whole German / Jewish little question mark, very little question mark in my mind. And again, it's one of these things. It's like, okay, why do you want this, that? Some people just, why do you worry about all that stuff? Why don't you just go to work and go to your Starbucks or your Tim Hortons, and who cares about where your grandfather came from or all that? I think there's a lot in terms of nature and nurture. In other words, that which you learn in your lifetime. Who am I? Well, you're told, in your lifetime, you're told, well, you're this. You're Frank's neighbor, or you're so-and-so's son, or you're so-and-so's employee. But there's a whole you aside from that you're born with. And that's the thing, I think, to celebrate. Because all the now stuff, it's now anyway. All this now stuff, okay, fine, I'm so-and-so's buddy, so-and-so's friend, so-and-so's employee, somebody's brother. That's all great. But then there's that whole thing. If you really want to be the best brother and the best employee or employer or husband or friend or whatever, then the better you know yourself, the better you are going to be at being yourself. And part of that involves getting to know who you are when you were born, at the moment of your birth, that whole side of things. So that is important, your heritage, where you come from. Because if you don't know where you're coming from, how can you know where you're going? And, of course, peoples all over the world who've had their cultures robbed from them due to various imperialistic endeavors, they've had to learn it the hard way. And when you take a people's self-awareness, self-respect, dignity, when you take all that sort of sense of who they are, aside from in the day-to-day, when you take that away from them, it breaks a people, at least temporarily, sometimes for several generations. And, of course, people just kind of fall into squalor and turn to drugs and alcoholism and depression and suicide and all these wonderful things to talk about on Christmas. But the point being, putting those two things together, who you are innately and who you are environmentally, marrying the two together and kind of developing a wholer sense of who you are. So, when I do this, I have to take into account all this stuff about the, that whole cultural side that comes along from the German/Jewish very little question mark side of things. I have also Irish all over my family, and Scottish and Cherokee, and by way of and West Country English, and of course this wonderful Newfoundland heritage, which is kind of from my mother's. It's from my mother's side of the family for a long, long time, back since around 1700, I think, and that's why I have this outrageous Avalonian accent that you hear, and you can't figure out what it is. What is this guy? Is he Irish or what? Well, that's what it is. It's Avalon Peninsula, Newfoundland kind of accent that I'm rocking here. Can't quite help it. People try to soften their accents and speak, this way and that, to try to be grander than they are sometimes. I kind of gave that up a long time ago and just let myself be myself and speak the way I speak. So, and too much sometimes, quite often speak too much, yeah. Just like right now. But that whole business, what I'm saying about all of that is we're all kind of a stew, really. No one of us is a bean or a piece of red pepper or a piece of mushroom. All of us are a stew. We all have little bits of this and that. And by way of the Cherokee, the East Cherokee in my blood, the East Cherokee and the African people always got along very well together. And there's quite a few people mixed of those two peoples. So the chances that my great-grandma, Pluma, the chances that she would not have had any part of her that is African would be, I think, very, very slim. So, thankfully, here I am with all this kind of, Jewish, Catholic, Protestant, German, Irish, Scottish, Cherokee, pinch of African, West Country English. It's great because here I am on December 25th, thinking to myself, boy, that food smells great. Boy, am I happy to be alive. And I don't have to spit fire and defend this or that or what I'm celebrating. I'm not celebrating any of it, and I'm celebrating all of it. So there's a little tiny piece of me that's feeling Quanza's coming, and there's a good chunk of me that harkens back to a lot of childhood memories, growing up in basically what they call a Judeo-Christian society. So you have all these memories of, the Christmas dinner and the Christmas tree and all these things. So, like I said before, I never grew up in an environment where we celebrated Hanukkah or anything like that. So it was kind of Judeo-Christian, my upbringing. Not very Christian, though, I might add. I think I attended more church when I was a child than my parents did. My mom and my stepdad, who I called Dad all the while, because that's what he was to me at the time. He was the only dad that I knew at the time. And, of course, since then I've met my father, my dad. So I guess I have a dad, or I had a dad. Unfortunately, he's passed since. But I was lucky enough to have a dad and a father. So there it is. So here we are celebrating all of this stuff all at the same time. So Christmas, then a bit of Quanza in there, and somewhere somewhere I get some kind of a cheap thrill out of eating ham. That I get some sort of sick thrill, some sort of twisted ham and bacon, and yeah, bring it on. It's funny, we were listening to WUSB last night from Stony Brook, Long Island, and there was a guy on there last night, obviously a Jewish person, I forget his name now, but he was just getting on with all kinds of antics, so, some of which might have offended certain people, and playing some funny songs, something about, one was to do with being Jewish but celebrating Christmas anyway, and of course Mom and Dad are all upset about it, but we put up a tree and we do all this and that. It is pretty funny, a lot of funny stuff. And we were sitting there, here it was after midnight, it was Christmas Day, Christ Mass Day, and we're sitting there listening to a Jew basically kind of border on the sacrilegious, and we're sitting there while we're doing all this, eating ham. So, what do you make of it, folks? I don't know. What are you supposed to do? I just don't know what to do. So I think we'll just kick back and enjoy it. That's pretty much the best way. And if at this time of the year you remember times past and maybe people that aren't around anymore, I guess the only thing I would say maybe is try not to be sad. Think about the time that you had with them and be glad that you had that time, because everything passes, and so do we all. And reminisce and smile, and have a wee dram for those who aren't around anymore, and those who are around now, if you can. Do something special for somebody. Make them feel like they're not entirely forgotten, and because we get this day-to-day thing. The other 51 weeks of the year that I sort of referred to earlier, we get kind of busy and juggity-jug, and we don't necessarily tell all the people that we would like to that, hey, we think I think you're swell, and you're my brother, you're my sister, big up, that kind of thing. We don't really get a chance to do that so much, or we don't make the chance, I should say. So during this week, while everyone's kind, you know what, that brother or that sister or that somebody that you might feel a bit kind of uncomfortable or embarrassed about saying it in the rude 51 weeks of the year, well, guess what? This is the kind week, and they're softened up a little. Now's your chance. So reach out and grab it while you have it. And if you're alone, you're just hanging around your apartment or your house, and it's just myself and Lillian here, for example, today. And do we feel like, oh, boo on us? We don't have 8 people sitting around a table, and we don't have Uncle Ira arguing with Uncle Fred, about the government and religion and this and that, and kids smashing glass and running around and beating their heads off the walls and crying and bleeding and all that stuff. It's just myself and Lillian. So are we feeling boo and lonely? And no, this is great. It's just the two of us, and we're just going to enjoy yummies all day, and later on tonight I think maybe have a couple of bevies and listen to some music. We got some new music, don't we? Mm-hmm. Tell the folks about our new music that we got for Christmas.
We got Lorena McKinnett's.
Oh, you're supposed to speak into the mic, not away from it, please.
We got Lorena McKinnett's new CD, The Ancient Muse, which is very nice, very, very nice. Uh-huh. And we've got Damian Marley's new CD. Welcome. Well,
it's not new anymore, but yeah, Welcome to Jam Rock. Damian Marley, son of Bob Marley, in case people don't know.
And we have the Easy Star All-Stars, Dub Side of the Moon,
which is wonderful. Any of you people out there who like Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, and you might have a bit of a penchant for reggae, especially dub reggae, Well, talk about a tasteful slash tasty recreation of the Dark Side of the Moon record, only dub reggae style, by the Easy Star All Stars, and it rocks, folks.
It's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim has a new EBO.
I have a new EBO. What is an EBO, you might be wondering? Well, it's a little tool. It's a little thing that you would use on a guitar, an electric guitar, instead of a pick. And it allows you, it resonates the strings. It's kind of a magnetic resonance thing. And it allows you to play the strings without using a pick, so you don't get that plucky sound. You get more of a bowing type sound, and not like a 747, more like bowing a violin or a cello, that kind of thing. And it's absolutely unbelievably awesome. This is going to be wherever appropriate. This is going to be all over my new record. As a piece of the coloration and the ambience in behind. And it's just very, very nice. So we got the Damian Marley, we've got the Easy Star All Stars, the Lorena McKinnon, the EBO. Lillian got a new hat. I got her a new hat, a new cap. We'll have to get a picture of you with your new cap.
All right.
What do you think?
Sure. You can take it.
I can take it, can I? Okay. All right, well, let's just carry on. What do we have? This is an awful long sort of rambling bit here at the beginning, but it is Christmas, so we figured we would do a little slight different type thing instead of going out into the studio. I'm just holding on to the R9 here, walking around the kitchen. And this episode of Republic of Avalon Radio, the special holiday episode, we are going to repeat for you, by popular demand, and offer Waddem's Miracle, read by Clyde Rose, our good friend. And some of you might remember that from last year, and many more of you may not, because you might not have been around last year. So that's just a true story, written by a Newfoundlander about a thing that happened a long, long time ago in a very, very, very isolated little dot of an island off the coast of Newfoundland in the roaring, raging North Atlantic, where they were very isolated and couldn't exactly go out to Walmart and pick up whatever they wanted whenever they felt like it. And by the way, folks, don't shop at Walmart, okay? All right, good. Also, we will... What else do we have lined up? I'm trying to remember. See, I don't have any notes or anything here. I'm just...
Oh, we did a little...
hold on.
We did a little walkabout before Christmas.
We did a little walkabout, yeah. We went out to get our hair cut, and we went to the Fairmont Hotel. That's where the place is, where we did the upper weight loss program. Hence, the haircut. And then we went for lunch at Belbin's Steakhouse. And a couple of little pieces of us just doing our thing, and there was a choir, a group of people singing at the Fairmont, singing some Christmas carols and stuff like that. Also, I'm going to repeat for you a little piece that I put together last year. The story of the origin. Well, I don't know if I tell you what it is, it kind of ruins it and gives it away. But it's a lovely little Christmas story read to us by our good friend Eddy Mailbag, who's been away for a long time. We haven't heard from him in ages and ages. We got a note on the table one day, just said, "Gotta go. Well, I'll be in touch," and we haven't really heard from him. Apparently, he's doing well. He's currently building a bunker in the side of a mountain in Costa Rica, and collecting foreign tennis balls and rewiring old radios from pre 1950 vintage. transceivers, basically, amateur radio transceivers. That's what he's up to these days, and I think he's kind of met a special person, and him and her are getting along very well. But he did our little intro for us this week, and we'll have him back again for that little piece. And we'll have some music from the Quintessential vocal ensemble, and from our friend Gordon Quinton, who is a solo guitarist from Newfoundland, who has been making lots of very wonderful music for quite a while now around here. And some of you, many of you, certainly may have never heard of him before, but we'll be having him on the show here in the weeks to come, sometime in the month of January. And that's pretty much it, folks. Aside from that, we hope that everybody's having a very nice time. Like I said, whether you've got all the screaming kids running around you, that can be good, or whether you don't have any screaming kids running around you and it's just you and a book and a radio. Don't forget radio, folks. Podcasting is great. You got this podcast you're listening to here right now, but of course we can't go on all day. When you're finished listening to this, internet radio is wonderful. WBAI.org. Try listening to them sometime today. That's a big favorite of ours. We listen to WBAI all the time. And WUSB, we listen to that a fair bit as well. That's out of Stony Brook, Long Island. And there's all kinds of other wonderful stuff on the internet. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to listen to on terrestrial radio these days. But what I really like to do sometimes is I like to do a search somewhere, wherever I can dig it up, Google or some radio directory. I like to look for talk radio, and I like to find local stations here and there and wherever, and just tune in and listen and be the fly on the wall and listen to some of the phone-in shows, and some, you can hear the local people in wherever it is, in this little town in Missouri, or this whatever, people calling in from Harlem or the Bronx or whatever. So you're not there, but you can just kind of tune in and be there, be as if you were there. So enjoy yourselves one way or the other, whether your house is full of people or whether you're there by yourself. Take the opportunity, like I said, read a book, listen to some radio, and enjoy the rest of this episode of Republic of Avalon Radio.
Republic of Avalon Radio.
Radio for the chipmunk in you.
You're with the roar! Jingle bells, Republic of Avalon Radio. You're with the roar!
Here we are at the
wonderful,
at
fabulous.
the wonderful, fabulous Fairmont Hotel.
Yes.
This is the Darling, and this is the 22nd of December.
It is all day too.
And this is a beautiful hotel, isn't it?
We have a fountain.
Fountain,
Let's go.
yes.
Let's
look
let
at
the folks hear the fountain.
Okay.
We're going over by the fountain, folks.
This is a gorgeous hotel.
Can we throw a penny in it?
Oh, where is it? Here it is here. Yes, we can. Why don't we do
Can
that?
we?
Yeah.
What does that get us?
Do you
A
have
wish?
do you have a penny?
Yes. Can
Do
I
it.
say my wish out loud, or it wouldn't work?
You're allowed to say it out loud because these people won't hear it till later, so you can wish now and maybe it'll come true before.
People won't hear it,
Well, not.
but you'll hear it,
Yeah, I'll hear it.
and I think you count.
I'm in on your wishes, though.
Okay, I'm going to make a wish.
All right.
No, I better not wish that.
Okay.
That's kind of like revenge against bad people in the world, so I won't wish that.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Okay.
Get
Sort
your-
of. It wasn't so much words, it was kind of like a feeling more than anything.
Okay. Cool. Okay, fire away. Oh no.
What happened?
It didn't go in. It went down here, I think.
Uh-oh. Some wish that was. Where'd it go?
Actually, I think it must have gone in.
It did. It cleared that.
Okay, it did then.
Okay,
Cool.
good.
All right.
All right, so I've made my wish.
Yay.
And by the way, folks, you will all benefit from that wish as well. It wasn't one of those wishing for a new Buick or anything like that.
So we have a choir over here.
A chore.
A choir, and I don't know who they are,
Smile, you're on Candid R9.
but they all have Santa hats on.
Do they?
Yes.
Figgy pudding? Oh, they're getting rambunctious now. They're getting out of hand. Very demanding. Who wrote those demanding lyrics? I demand to know. Bring you near.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yay.
Yay.
And a happy you near. So if you're near, it's going to be happy. Happy you near. That's what you should say to folks. People. That's what you should say. Yes, when somebody who you want to have around, don't wish them a happy new year. Wish them a happy you near.
I like that.
You like it?
That's cool.
I just invented it in my own little head just then.
So, what shall we do?
So we're promenading about the Fairmont.
It's very lovely.
Now, what is it with Fairmont or Fairmont? Some people call it the Fairmont, and some people call it the Fairmount.
It is actually the Fairmont.
It is the Fairmont?
It is, yeah.
Well, why do you have me
M-O-N-T.
going around calling taxis and saying, bring me to the Fairmount?
I don't know.
That's silliness.
It's the Mont.
That's the heights of silliness.
So what will we do?
It used to be it used to be Hotel Newfoundland, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Not the Newfoundland Hotel, but Hotel Newfoundland.
So what shall we do?
I don't know. What should we do? We're just doing whatever we're doing.
We can go and
You're
have
trying to make
lunch.
something up? Weren't we already just doing?
Yeah, but we're now going to go
We're
and
going to
have
stop
lunch.
doing and wonder what to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall we go have lunch?
Let's go have lunch.
Okay.
So, folks, this is Jim and Lillian out to lunch.
Out to lunch. Over and out.
Hi, it's Peter Belbin. I'd like to wish everybody a real Merry Christmas and a great New Year.
So here we are.
Here we are at Belbin's
Steakhouse.
This is lunch.
We're not necessarily going to eat steak, though.
No, they have everything here.
I'm going to have a basket of barbecued wings, I think.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But they're not actually barbecued. They're only barbecue flavor. Because they're not actually outside, barbecuing them on a barbecue.
No, they wouldn't do that.
So they're lying.
They all lie, don't they?
Dirty liars. That's like... if you ever go to a restaurant and you see on the menu homemade soup, don't believe them. It's not true. It's actually restaurant-made soup. Why they say it's homemade soup, I don't know. It's beyond me.
I guess they want to make you feel like you're at home.
Well, how about home-style soup, maybe?
Home-style is good.
Chunky, hearty home-style soup, I could go for that.
Now that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to ask for that.
If they have such a beast?
Yeah. This is a beautiful restaurant. This used to be really old. It's a really old building. I don't know what it used to be, but it's got beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, like beams.
Beams?
Beams, yeah.
Like laser beams?
No. Beams going all throughout the room and like holding the building up.
Like kidney beams?
No.
Navy beams.
So we just came from the Fairmont Hotel.
Yes.
And we got our hair done.
We did.
Hairs.
It was done. Now it's finished. Our hair is done.
We were finished at the same time.
Yes, it was amazing. As opposed to a June zing or a July zing.
Yeah.
Usually she takes much longer because she has longer hair.
Yeah.
So she takes longer.
I was there since 9:30.
So she actually did, in fact, take longer, but she started earlier.
Yes.
And it just worked out so well because we were finished at the same time. And isn't that wonderful, folks?
It was brilliant.
Yeah. I'm sure they're all thrilled now.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So this is 2 days before Christmas, 3 days before Christmas.
Well, it's already Christmas. It's Christmas all year.
It feels like Christmas now to me, the first time.
I'm one of these Christmas all year round kind of people myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you think about it, okay, is it about Christ? No. Everybody knows Christ wasn't born on December 25th, and that's actually like an evil winter solstice Babylonian thing, and the tree is just a nasty kind of a Babylonian phallic symbol, Osiris and Isis and Horus and all that stuff. So it's not about that.
It's not about that at all.
No. And Santa Claus, of course, is just this kind of... his profile, he's pretty much an antisocial... I think he should be on the no-fly list.
Yes, after a drink and all that.
Well, where he lives and how he dresses and who he hangs out with and the elf sweatshop labor. He's not employing any American citizens or Canadian citizens or anything like that. He's got this kind of sweatshop up of all places in the North Pole where they, I guess, so they can't get away or something like that.
Employing elves, probably paying them less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
I would say. You missed Santa. Actually, he was in when I was next door. He came in and gave me some Christmas balls.
Oh, nice. And of course, Santa is like an anagram for Satan. We all know that. You mix the letters around and you get to, So it's not about all that either. And about gifts and things like that. All the kind of greed and material. The whole idea of the spirit is of the season is not about everyone being greedy and salivating about what they're going to get and whatever their PlayStation or their whatever the heck it is, or their wool socks or whatever they're all kind of hot and heavy to receive.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we're ready to order.
Okay, excellent.
Are you ready?
Do you have any nice home-style soup?
Chunky, hearty, home-style soup?
We have beef vegetable soup today.
Is it chunky and hearty and chunky?
Nice big chunks of prime rib. It's not like,
Okay, I'll have that.
Beef vegetable soup.
Yep.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah, just some bread to go with that.
And I'm going to have a back set of barbecue wings.
Okay. No problem. Excellent.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Do you know, no.
So what are we talking about? Santa Claus?
I just learned last night on WBAI
Speak up, please.
a little bit about Quanza.
Yes.
I didn't really know what it was, but...
You didn't know?
No, I just knew not a lot about it. I knew what it was, but not any details.
It's not about quantity. Like I was just... See, this is a great lead-up, folks, because what I was just talking about is it's not all about quantity, it's about quantity.
Quantity, yeah,
yes.
for sure.
So tell the good listeners out there, especially all our white friends, what Quanza is all about.
Well, from what I gather, it's more about community, people getting together and just being together and sharing, sharing goodwill, I guess.
Yeah.
It's more about that. I don't know so much about the traditions, but it seems like a kinder and gentler Christmas.
And it's it has its root in the African American community.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think I don't know how long it's been on the go, actually, because they were talking about the man who actually, brought it into existence. And
now I've heard people poo-poo it. I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, Quanza, la la la." It's not something that's 2,000 years old, so it doesn't qualify. But some of the stuff we were talking about before, all this stuff with this Coca-Cola Santa Claus and all that wasn't around forever either. So I think, each one to his own. And the main idea for me is like what you were just saying. The main thing that I like about this week from, roughly 24th / 25th up to kind of New Year's Day, that kind of thing, is that people are just a little bit more tolerant, a little bit more patient, a little bit kinder, perhaps.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of it isn't in earnest. A lot of it's, Merry Christmas, and it doesn't mean anything.
Sure, it's like, have a nice day.
Have a nice day, yeah, exactly. Yeah, have a nice day. Merry Christmas. But overall, I think people are a little more, they slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And so whether it's Hanukkah or Quanza or Christmas or whatever it is for you, that's the stuff really to hold on to, is that sense, that feeling, and try to stretch that out throughout the year, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's a time, I guess, when everybody shuts down.
Yes, they have to, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, and which creates a lot of goodwill because it's not as much hustle and bustle after all the shopping is finished.
That's
and
right.
All the stores are closed and everything.
A lot of people get very sad and down during Christmas because maybe they don't have their families around them. Maybe maybe they have childhood memories and things will never be the way they were, and they kind of get nostalgic and kind of a homesick. I think that's a lot of people get this feeling during Christmas. It's kind of like a homesickness.
For sure. Yeah.
Kind of a deep down sort of a homesickness.
Yeah. Because people, I think most people have at some point in their lives a really good memory of a Christmas or several Christmases
we got some stuff
with
there
their
for
family.
The fluffy.
Yep. And also I think there are people out there that I've been talking to, this whole shopping thing. A lot of people just, with children especially, just don't have the resources. Some people just don't, can't keep up, and they feel sad about that.
I think people should just give up this whole materialistic thing during Christmas, buying all these, running up your credit card and all that stuff. What if you were to say to people, I don't know, the thing I said earlier, the Happy New Year, those people, just those people. What if it's good to send emails and send cards? Cards are always nicer. And what about, folks, here's a little suggestion for you. There's a wonderful old technology that still, in my books, really, really outranks sending someone an email that says Merry Christmas, and you just highlight your address book and hit send. It's called a telephone.
Yeah.
Call people, call your friends, call that person that you haven't spoke to in a long time. Call your old bugger dad, who hasn't spoken to you in 20 years, and just ring him up and say, hey, because he's probably got that kind of homesick feeling.
Yeah. I think too, it's not very often when we say to each other, to somebody, how special they really are. It's one thing saying I love you, but to really tell somebody that they're special in your life, that you find them to be special.
Like Happy New Year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks.
And there's chicken wings.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Thanks.
I think you're swell.
I think you're the swellest. Well, another idea is to say to somebody, let's say you feel compelled to spend $200 on somebody. What if you were to say to this person, look, instead of spending $200 on you now and spending until April paying off my credit cards and so on, why don't I just put you on my little special list here? And all throughout the year, whenever I get in the mood, whenever I see something that, look, gee whiz, he'd love that, those gloves or whatever, and instead of hoarding them up in the closet, you...
Thank you.
Is she trying to say I got dirty fingers or something? What's with that? She just came by with a bowl.
Some extra napkins.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That must be a real pig. I don't think you should take me out of the house. Is it that obvious? I haven't even started eating yet. How does she know? It's true, though. But imagine, folks, if, May the 15th, someone, a good friend of yours is walking down the street, goes into a mall somewhere, and they see that CD. Wow. You listener.
Yeah.
Boy, you'd love that CD. So they just pick it up for you. And then later that week, you see them and they say, hey, I saw the CD. I figured you'd like it. Here you go.
Yeah.
And so, there's like, whatever, 12, 14, 15, 16 bucks there. And then some other day on July 10th, they say, you know what? So-and-so, you listener, have been kind of working hard lately. I think I'm going to take that person out to lunch or out to dinner or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
You know what I mean? Instead of blowing $200 on some item that they're either going to like or not like.
Yeah.
I just think it would be...
it's like kind of obligatory. It takes, that takes some of the specialness away from it, I guess, the obligatory thing.
Or everybody could just, say, go to jimfidler.com and just buy, stacks of CDs.
That's a good idea.
That would be good.
I knew somebody told me that what they did for, maybe it was their mother or aunt or whatever, they, for their Christmas present, they sent them a little bouquet of flowers, but the flowers would come every month for the whole year.
Now that's nice.
At a certain date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's really cool.
But you see, that's the problem. Who needs love for a week and then stress for 51 weeks? That's the problem. I think anything you can do for somebody that doesn't cost any money is nice. Of course, we do live in a capitalistic society, which, by the way, folks, a lot of us are operating under some delusion that capitalism means all of us, you and me, being able to fairly and equally trade goods and services amongst each other ourselves. But it's actually not the case, because capitalism comes from the Latin capitus, which means the top or the head. So capitalism is actually a system by design that's run from the top down. Ho, ho, ho. So, I think there's a lot of things people can do other than just I mean, honestly, children over the years growing up, wouldn't you rather play some ball in the backyard and go camping and sit out on the porch on summer evenings and talk and tickle and wrestle and you know, what the hell, would you rather grow up with that, or would you rather grow up with the latest PlayStation?
Exactly. That becomes pretty boring after a while.
It sure does.
Yeah. There's nothing like spending time.
Yeah. So I'm going to spend time eating wings now.
All right.
And we will check back with the folks later on.
Okay, we're going to do a little bit of shopping after this, so we'll check back with you later.
See you, please.
Bye.
Republic of Avalon Radio. You're with the roar!
One particular Christmas season, a long time ago, Santa was getting ready for his annual trip, but there were problems everywhere. 4 of his elves got sick, and the substitute elves did not produce the toys as fast as the regular ones, so Santa was beginning to feel the pressure of being behind schedule. Then, Mrs. Claus told Santa that her mom was coming to visit. This stressed Santa even more. When he went to harness the reindeer, he found that 4 of them were about to give birth, and 2 had jumped the fence and were out, God knows where. More stress. Then, when he began to load the sleigh, one of the boards cracked, and the toy bag fell to the ground and scattered the toys all over the place. So, frustrated, Santa went into the house for a cup of coffee and a shot of whiskey. When he went to the cupboard, he discovered that the elves had hid the liquor and there was nothing to drink. In his frustration, he accidentally dropped the coffee pot, and it broke into hundreds of little pieces all over the kitchen floor. He went to get the broom and found that mice had eaten the straw it was made from. Just then, the doorbell rang and Santa cussed on his way to the door.
What the hell?
He opened the door, and there was a little angel with a great big Christmas tree. The angel said very cheerfully, "Merry Christmas, Santa. Isn't it just a lovely day? I have a beautiful tree for you. Isn't it just a lovely tree? Where would you like me to stick it?" Thus began the tradition of a little angel on top of the Christmas tree.
Republic of Avalon Radio. You're with the roar!
Hello, this is Gordon Quinton, wishing you all the best over the holiday season.
That was An Animal's Christmas by Gordon Quinton, and the piece of music we heard earlier was Mary's Little Boy Child by the Quintessential Vocal Ensemble. So a great big thanks to both the Quints and the Quintons for the music. The other bit you heard was my little toying with jingle bells that I recorded for the show last year. So we thought we'd throw that in there as well. And just want to send a big season's greeting out to the Quints and the Quintons. Funny that things turned out to be such as that.
I didn't think of that till just now.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, there you go. You just get into the whole holiday spirit and all kinds of crazy things come to your mind.
Oh, it's serendipitous.
Whoa. Yes, indeed. So, let's finish this final episode for the year 2006 of Republic of Avalon Radio with our good friend Clyde Rose. And we will leave you with all the best for the holiday season. And hope you have a good New Year's Eve, and hope you stick with us for the new year, and hope that the new year is good to you.
Yes, indeed. And a great big holiday greetings and much love and hugs go out to our family in Millertown.
Absolutely.
And to Pennsylvania.
And to all our listeners all over the world. Here's Clyde Rose with An Offer Waddem's Miracle. You're listening to Republic of Avalon Radio.
An Offer Waddem's Miracle. In 1929, when Susie was 7, she and her lightkeeper parents, Arch and Nora Way, moved from Musgrave Harbour to Offer Waddem Island, 12 miles out in the Atlantic, and the last inhabited speck of land until you came to Ireland. Here on this treeless rock that was buffeted by mountainous seas most of the time and locked in Arctic ice flows every spring, Susie lived for 9 years until she returned home to start high school. Although isolation was the central fact of her life in that forbidding environment, she cherished some warm and lovely memories of that sojourn. Among them is a Christmas miracle. Susie's summers were exciting enough. Every June, when the northern ice finally let go of the shore, 50 or more families would converge there from the mainland to fish cod. 2 merchants would even come and set up shop, one at either end of the half-mile-wide island. For 2 hectic months, the men and older boys would jig, split, salt, and dry fish, while the women made cod liver oil to barter for necessities like cotton. Each week, a coastal steamer delivered mail and freight to the government wharf, and sometimes tourists. Besides tending the light, her father set broken bones, pulled bad teeth, cured headaches and fevers, and held church services in the tiny Methodist chapel. Her mother taught Sunday school. The smaller children had a wonderful time. But in September, everything changed. All the mainland children had to return to school. As boat after loaded boat drew away from the wharf, the 2 lighthouse families would watch and wave. Finally, when the last put of the last engine faded on the western horizon, they would turn to face another long winter. Susie Way spent 9 Christmases on Outer, Waddem, with her 2 brothers and 1 sister. Their only neighbors, an elderly couple, were childless. So few were they, only 8 souls in that waste of winter ocean. They had to keep busy. Their parents saw to that. On weekdays, Mother taught them the same school lessons that mainland children took. On the Sabbath, they continued the summer practice of having hymns and prayers and Bible study. Besides schoolwork, the older children had potatoes to peel, lamps to trim, dishes to wash, coal to fetch, slops to dump, and snow to shovel. And, of course, Father tended the lights, while Mother kept hearth and home. But there was the mail. 3 times between September and May, the Abbott family of Musgrave Harbour would venture out by boat to deliver 2 or 3 months' accumulation. Letters, magazines, catalogues, church literature. It was a feast, almost a Christmas in itself. Sometimes there were even books. The season's last official boat trip was in November. Any winter supplies had to be ordered in time for that. This was all the more urgent after 1933, when, as a cost-cutting measure, the government removed the telegraph equipment. Until then, the Ways could always tap out a message on the wireless. Now they had no means to get word out whatsoever. All they could do in an emergency was light a bonfire and hope someone would see it. Their only link with the outside world was a battery radio. Picture them then. On a stormy November night in 1934, a few weeks before the last boat, sitting around the snug lamplit kitchen of their frame house, reading, doing homework, writing letters, mending socks, snoozing. Outside, the first gale of winter howls around the lighthouse tower and under the eaves. Every few moments the great light floods the dark windows and sweeps out to sea, warning seamen of the island's rocky teeth. As the year's first snow hisses against the panes, the coal stove glows cherry red and the kettle sings. "Susie, it's time to turn on the Gerald S. Doyle news," says her father. Susie, 12, a dark-haired, intelligent girl, is happy to hear from civilization this stormy night, even if only for a few minutes, since they must save the batteries. Often the Doyle news carries news of friends on its message service. She turns the radio on. No sooner has the announcer begun reading than a brilliant flash silences him. They all stare in horror as realization dawns. The tubes have blown. They have no spares. Without the wireless, they can't order any. Unless they can get word ashore, they are completely cut off until next May. And now let Susie tell the story. We all felt devastated. No more church services from Newfoundland's first broadcasting station, VOWR, Voice of Wesley Radio, in St. John's. No carols during Christmas. No news from the outside world. And to a very young girl, I think not being able to listen to Little Orphan Annie was the worst blow of all. However, my father was a man who used his wits to overcome problems too numerous to mention, who pulled teeth and administered first aid at the drop of a hat. He hit upon an idea. He had what was known as a patent home sealer, a canning device. With it he would can birds, seal meat, cod tongues, and other delicacies in a 1-pound tin, which would provide us with a change in diet from time to time. He set to work and wrote down the numbers of the tubes on slips of paper and sealed the tins. Then, in bright red paint, he printed the mailman's name on all 3 tins and waited for a day when the wind was blowing toward Musgrave Harbour and threw them into the ocean, with a prayer, I'm sure. Can you imagine? 3 little tins bobbing in mountainous seas, buffeted by strong winds, traveling 12 miles. There were half a dozen or more islands between ours and Musgrave Harbour. One hope prevailed, however, and it was that God would surely hear our prayers. Musgrave Harbour has a lot of sandy beaches, so there was a good chance of the Tins landing if they could get past the other islands. But would they be found? There were not many people on that coast. And so it was a very exciting day in November when Dad spied the little motorboat coming into view, and we all raced down to the government wharf to watch as she finally tied up. Dad called down to them, "Did you get my radio tubes?" We all held our breath for a moment, awaiting the reply that would make us very happy or plunge our spirits into deep despair. The answer, to our delight, was, "Yes, bye, we got 'em. I picked up one of the tins myself." We saw the lovely Christmas tree too, and we were very happy that day and for the rest of the winter.
He's a very happy pussycat in Christmas 2006. Thanks to Poco Henry.
What the hell are we saying?
A Root Cellar production.